Carl Case there in Robert Shiller's new book, Finance and the Good Society. I'm reading every word of it right now, and Professor Shiller joins us from Yale University. Bob, good to see you again.
Hi, Tom.
I'll talk a little bit about the book at the end, but right now let's talk about housing. Is this a muddle along, or is this a further price decline market?
Well, the indicators are kind of mixed. I think, but most home buyers are interested in the longer term. Most people aren't flipping anymore. And in the longer term, I don't know that I see any reason to think of big price movements. We had the biggest bubble in history. I don't think that's coming again. It might go down a little further, might go up a little bit. It's not a lot of action. I'm a little bit worried about the downside. There's risks in buying a house now, but probably nothing dramatic.
Within the price theory of buying and selling, I would suggest there's not enough attention paid to the psychology and behavior of sellers, the responsiveness of sellers to this market. When do they dive in and we see a lot more for sale signs?
Yeah, they seem to be holding off now. I guess thinking that in the longer run things will look better. Chip Case and I just did well, we've been doing surveys for years, and we found that the expectations for the long term are still holding up, at least among people who own homes, and so they're holding off and waiting for something better.
This is absolutely critical and goes back to the irrational exuberance of Bob Shiller. Are you saying, Professor Shiller, that we haven't reframed our beliefs in housing, that we still believe in a double-digit housing economy, even if it's down the road someday?
Well, I don't know about double-digit, but yeah, I mean, we're still seeing people expecting the long. They think we haven't completely gotten over this idea that housing is a great investment because we're running out of land. That's still in our mind, and people are still waiting for the future. So it's a doldrums market, but prices aren't really going anywhere.
Yeah, behavior hasn't changed. Here's a chart. This is the Shiller Index, and we spoof Bob Shiller's wonderful new book, Housing in the Bad Society. It looks like a bad dampened difference equation, Bob. Up we go, down we go, and then we're right into a sinodal equation at the zero bound, just dampened down. How do we get back to a 3% annual growth in housing?
Well, I think the economy was damaged by a bubble in home prices, and it was a bubble whose effects were compounded by the fact that the American dream has been cast as ownership of an undiversified leveraged portfolio in housing. That was a disaster scenario, and now we're seeing the consequences of it. What we have to do, as I argued in Finance and the Good Society, is to try to make financial tools better in consistency with the theory. And so we shouldn't have people bearing all these housing risks.
Right. Let's bring up this quote. This is the op-ed of the morning. This is a laureate, Peter Diamond of MIT and Emmanuel Saez at Berkeley. High tax rates won't slow growth. By itself, a suitable increase in the taxation of top earners will not solve our unsustainable long-term trajectory. But that's no reason not to use this tool to contribute to addressing this problem. The politicians have this wrong, don't they, Bob Shiller, when they just go with the rich?
Well, I think so. I think raising taxes on the rich would just bring us back to some glory years we had in the 60s when everything was normal. We had much higher tax rates on the rich. I don't think it's going to kill the economy. Quite the contrary. If we use the money to spend on things like infrastructure, raise taxes on the rich, buy better harbors, bridges, highways, that sort of thing, science, we will benefit from it. It will grow the economy.
But, Bob, you must admit, even within your book, Finance and the Good Society, a large part of the American public does not trust that those good taxes will be spent wisely. There is an immense distrust out there, isn't there?
Yeah, I think, trust in our government was much higher after we won the war, World War II. And we went through decades of time when people were willing to tolerate high tax rates, and they were trusting and believing in the government. All that is starting to fade now, and it's a tragedy.
Okay, I'm reading every word of his book. It is a fabulous book. I'm not willing to say it's my book of the year yet because it's April, but this is a wonderful, wonderful book. Here's a key quote so far. I believe it is important for all readers to spend time with whole readable books on broad topics. Thank you, Bob.